Grandmaster Wesley So became the leader of the US Championship 2017 after 4th round. He beats Alexander Onishchuk in a beautiful tactical style, and now Wesley So has 3 points of 4 possible. With permutation of moves, there was English beginning on the board, and on the 14th move Black plays bishop c5. Why don't Black take a knight on d4? He is not protected already. It is after taking queen takes d4, White get a small but persistent advantage. Knight d5, open strike, queen c5 protecting the bishop on e7, rook a c1, queen d6 and bishop takes e5. Distraction, queen takes e5, knight takes e7 check, king h8, queen c2. White burst on 7th rank, rook a b8, queen c7. Queen takes c7, rook takes c7, and White has the initiative. Let's go back to the 14th move. White played queen e2, bishop c5 followed, attacking the d4 knight, rook e d1, queen e7, knight a4, bishop takes d4, and knight c6, bishop e3, rook f d8, knight c3, queen b4. Black plays actively, queen b2, knight g4, bishop f4 and knight c e5, a3, queen c5, knight a4, queen b5, knight c3, queen c5, knight a4. Here is a repetition of moves, but White avoid a draw by playing h3, knight d3, threatening taking the f2 pawn, but it is not too scary for White. They give back a rook, rook takes d3, for 2 minor pieces of black, for 2 knights. Rook takes d3 and h takes g. Queen takes b3, bishop f1, queen takes b2, knight takes b2. Here Black does small error. He played rook b3, allowing the knight move to the center. Now the knight through the square c4 moves to d6. It should play rook c3, and then game after knight d1, rook c5 would be equal. After the move in the game rook b3, White plays knight c4, rook d8, knight d6. Bishop protects a knight, and the knight occupies a very strong square in the enemy camp. Bishop a8 and g5. White do not want a promotion f7, f6 and prevent it. Rook c3 and a4. Rook c5, e5, rook d7, and bishop e3. White sacrifice a pawn e5 and intensify their rook a1. Rook takes e5, and what would be if Black doesn't take a pawn and played, for example, rook d5? Then rook c1, rook d8 because is threatened check on c8, rook d8 and f4. White has a positional advantage. After bishop e3, rook e5, rook c1 and rook d8. Black defends from the check on c8. And what would be if Black took the knight? Rook takes d6. Then rook c8 check, rook d8 and rook takes d8 checkmate. So he mustn't take a knight on d6. Black played rook d8, rook c7 followed, White burst on 7th rank. Rook d5, knight takes f7, rook f8 and g6. Black is forced to take a pawn g6, and thus he weakens the square g5. White moves knight g5, rook d1, knight takes e6, rook e8, rook takes g7 check, king h8, rook takes g6, bishop e4, and after the move bishop d4 check, Black resigned. Why? Because on king h7 decides rook g7 check, and Black gets on combination the mill. Rook takes a7 check, king g8, rook g7 check, king h8, rook e7 check, king g8, rook takes a8. A very beautiful combination. If after bishop d4 Black will want to give rook for bishop, rook takes d4, he gives a material losses. Rook h6 check, king g8 and knight takes d4 completes this game. White has an extra pawn and a piece, so they win. Our congratulations to Wesley So with the victory in the 4th round. Would like this chess game? Remember that he is leading in the tournament with 3 points of 4, and we continue to monitor the most interesting events on this tournament. See you!